Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. We are in Italy. Yay! We made it across the water. We're in Italy. If you're new to our channel, I'm Chris.
I'm Steve.
Thanks for coming. We drop a video every Monday and tell you about our life as full-time traveling nomads and early retired. So we are in Italy, and today's topic...
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Today's topic is we've been to a lot of places in Italy and a lot of different cities, and we've attacked those cities in different manners. So sometimes we do it on our own, sometimes we hack it, sometimes we do this, sometimes we do that. So we thought we'd share with you. We're going to share with you the pictures from the cities, but we're going to share with you how we figured out how to enjoy those cities. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we, if you've been following along, we took a cruise from Fort Lauderdale to Barcelona, and then we had a house sit in just outside of Naples, and then we went to Sicily, and now we're in Florence. And as we've done all those things, where have we been? First city was what?
Yeah. So Naples is great. It's a little bit kind of a gritty kind of working class city, but it's got beautiful views right on the Mediterranean in the bay. It's
kind of the Glasgow of Italy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fascinating city. Really enjoyed it, and I think the first.
So we're not going to go in geographical order as we talk through, because all the cities start sounding the same. We're going to go through the order of doing it on our own and completely hacking all the information to create a tour on our own versus paying someone the big bucks in order to do a tour. So the first place that we kind of did it on our own was Agrigento. Well, not the first place geography, but anyway, just follow along. So the first place we want to talk about is Agrigento. So Agrigento is on the island of Sicily.
Yeah, it's on the southern coast.
And it is a place people go to because there's this giant valley that has, 7 or 8 Greek temples in it.
Right.
So we arrived by train, and we had a wonderful Airbnb. And we stayed in the Airbnb, and the next morning we got up and we decided to hack our own adventure to get down to Agrigento. We could actually see the temple from our Airbnb bedroom window, which was phenomenal. This amazing view. We'll show you a picture of it. And we looked down the valley and we said, well, gosh, we can do this on our own.
That's where we're going.
That's where we're going. So we're not going to pay anybody to do this. We're just going to, off we go. So what do we do?
Yeah, so it's a unique geography because the town where we were staying was right by the train station, but it was way up on the hill. So we had to get down into the valley, which was much closer to the coast. And we just kind of Google mapped it out, and we decided, what route we were going to take. And we started, walking. And, we love to walk and EatWalkLearn, right? So walking is what it's all about. And we said, we'll find some place to get a snack on the way. And that's exactly what we did. So we, walking down, I think it was about 2 kilometers total.
More.
Maybe
3 kilometers.
About a mile and a half
downhill.
And on the way, we found a delicious snack to get at a little restaurant on the way. And when we got to the first set of ruins, kind of one end of this really long valley of ruins, it was pretty easy to figure out that we had to pay a small entrance fee to get in, and it was fabulous.
And it was well interpreted. There were signs in both English and I think it was Italian. English and Italian.
Right.
And we were able to just really enjoy the ruins. I think if you're really, really into archaeology and really, really, really into history, you might have wanted to have a book or printout or additional information. But we were just more looking at it for the beauty of it and a little bit of the history. And so we walked from temple to temple to temple, and then when we got to there's this 2 kilometer promenade that you walk down. When we got to the end of it, we were told that we could catch bus number 2 to get back up the hill. A series of errors produced us missing the bus, and so hack error number 1, I guess, the cheapest way to do it, we could have taken the bus for like €1. We ended up hailing a cab for €10 to go back up the hill, because by that point we had done about 15,000 steps. I was done for the day because the previous day we had done 20,000 steps, and the previous day we had done 17,000 steps, and I was like, I don't need to do any more steps today. So
Catching a cab is really not our style. I
Yeah.
think that's like the second time we've done that in the last 9 months
Yeah.
since on our journey. So, but it just seemed like it was appropriate at this time that we couldn't get an Uber. We didn't know when the next bus was going to come. We thought it might be like 45 minutes to an hour, but we really weren't sure. It was late in the day, and we've been walking all day, and it seemed like the right thing to do
Yeah.
was just catch a cab.
And the one tool that we probably use the most in anything that we do is Google's mapping tool. We just pull up Google, we GPS it, and 9 times out of 10, it's pretty accurate. Every once in a while, and on there we find bus schedules. We just say we want to go wherever. We push the bus or the transit button. It just tells us what bus to take and where to go. It doesn't tell you really how much it costs, but usually Google does pretty well. So that is our number one tool that we use constantly, and just a secret, you don't have to, if you navigate with it, you use data, but if you just use the GPS and you don't navigate it, you don't have to use data. So that's a little hint. Okay, number 2. The next place we went was Palermo. So Palermo is another city in Sicily. We took the ferry from Naples to Sicily overnight and got into Palermo. And Palermo is much bigger than I thought it was going to be, and a lot prettier than some of the other places we've been in Italy. And lots and lots and lots of interesting historic cathedrals and ruins and fountains and so on and so forth. So feeling a little bit overwhelmed with trying to hack something of our own, we downloaded an amazing walking tour there's this website that we love called GPS My City. I'll put a link down below, and which I actually have a lot of content on there from Walking and EatWalkLearn. They take a lot of my blog posts and turn those into walking tours, so you can download that. So anyway, you can download it for free. If you pay for if you want the navigation, I think it's like €1 or €2 or something. Anyway, totally worth the money. With this, we downloaded the Palermo GPS My Guide walking tour, and we just followed it, and we stumbled upon this amazing fountain. It was called this Fountain of Shame. We never would have found it on our own. It was actually just right around the corner from one of the popular exhibits, the Four Corners, but it was remarkable.
Yeah. It was great to really just to have a guide that was on our phone, that was easy, that we could read about the different places and the things that we were looking at, and not just guessing. Like, so we found out that this was called the Fountain of Shame. Well, why would they call it the Fountain of Shame? So there was a way, a guide that we could read and to understand the history
Right.
of all the naked statues,
Right.
and that's basically it. But it was, but the walking tour and the walking guide was really nice. Turn right, turn left, go up this street, because a lot of alleys and a lot of things like it can't possibly be over there. Yep, go through this alley, and there's this amazing basilica or fountain or something. So
what's nice about GPS My Guide is if you pay to download it, literally it's like €1 or $2 or something, then the navigation is held within the map, and you're not using any data to use it. So that's also nice. So there's no extra cost once you download it. So that's kind of cool. So then the next place we want to talk about is Naples, also known as Napoli. We actually went on one of those free walking tours. So you see these everywhere in all the big cities. You can just Google free walking tour New York, free walking tour Naples, free walking tour Rome, whatever. And there's usually 3 or 4 different guides, and they generally will tell you to meet at like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning at one of the popular statues or whatever downtown. You go, you meet, there's usually, I don't know, about a dozen or so people, more or less, on the tour.
What day of the week, and
Yeah.
If it's tourist season or not, how many other people are going to be on the tour.
And they usually take you on about a 2 or 3 hour walking tour, and it is classified as free. So they basically take you to like the top 10 sites or the top 5 things you need to see. And of course, it's only visual, so you don't actually really go into any place. So if something requires an entrance fee, you're not going to do that on the walking tour, but the guide will tell you why you should pay to go in there or whatever. And it's also good because the guide will also give you tips on places to eat. Like this particular guide gave us a fabulous place to get Napoli pizza. I think it was probably the best pizza we've had so far in Italy.
Fantastic.
And then at the end, if you want, which you should, you should tip the guide. So we generally try to do the equivalent of about $10 to $15 per person when we tip. Everybody tips completely different. It's totally up to you. I don't think there really is a right answer or a wrong answer on how much to tip. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think that actually I would go more to like the $5 to $10 a person range, depending on, if you thought the tour guide did a really good job and provided the value, and also maybe the number of people that are on the tour, because less people I think is a more valuable tour if it's
Right.
more of a one-on-one kind of a situation. In this case in Naples, there. It seemed like there were a lot of like alleys and a lot of buildings and such that you look at the building, you have no idea really what this architecture is, and it was great to have somebody to explain it and explain the history and talk about the culture of the city.
Yeah, she talked about, we went to the Music Institute or whatever, and we got this whole background about Italian opera and the comedy of Italian opera and how that turned into a whole different genre for opera, which we never ever would have learned that ever. So anyway, next place we went, so we took off to Mount Etna. Actually, no, we're going to talk about Herculaneum and Vesuvius first. So Herculaneum, so you probably know Pompeii. Well, Herculaneum is the sister city to Pompeii. Pompeii is much bigger. Herculaneum is a little bit more intimate and more well preserved. So Herculaneum is the same story as Pompeii. Mount Vesuvius erupted in 69 AD or something. Maybe that was the earthquake. Anyway, and then covered these two cities, and they have now done the archaeology and excavated them. So we decided to go to Herculaneum. It was a little bit easier to get there. We were able to take the train to get right to Herculaneum and pay the entry fee to go to Herculaneum. And we toured the ruins of Herculaneum and learned a lot about the life of ancient Greece in basically zero AD to 100 AD or something along the first century AD. And then after we did that, Rome. Anyway, after that, we decided we wanted to climb Mount Vesuvius. And I'm like, I want to go home. And Steve's like, no.
Let's do it.
Come on, it will be easy.
And
piece of cake.
Right. And what I found was that there were different ways to do this. Again, we could have hired a complete tour guide and paid, $100 each to get this tour. But what I found was very close, within about a kilometer of where we were in Herculaneum, there was a bus company that for €10 each would drive you up to the very top. You'd have 90 minutes to explore the top of the volcano, which is how long it took. And then they wait for you, and then they take you on the bus and they bring you right back down to the bottom, which was like 2 blocks from the train station, which is what we needed to get back. And then again, this was outside of Naples, so we're still in our house sit in Naples and doing all this in one day. And anyway, so well worth the money to pay the $10 or the €10 per person. We show up, we get on the bus, the driver takes us around and around and around, and finally we get to the parking lot at the very top. We had to walk.
I think we paid another €10 or something to get into the park, right? There was entry fee into the park.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes, that was included with the bus,
right.
But we do pay a little bit extra to do that, to get into the park.
And then it was about 3 kilometers, so a mile and a half or so, up ash, and what are those things called? Switchbacks.
Yeah.
Switchbacks. Steep, all the way up to the top. And it was a beautiful day, and actually the next day it snowed, so that was kind of fun. So we get to the top, learned there was some interpretation up there, met some really cool people from Atlanta actually on the way up to the top. And had a beautiful view of Vesuvius, and it was so cool to be at the top of Vesuvius and really understand how it would have exploded and the lava went down. You can see down below Pompeii and Herculaneum and how devastating it was. So it was just a really interesting cultural experience to be in Herculaneum and see the destruction and the recreation, the revitalization of the city that was there, and then to go up to the top of the mountain and see what destroyed it. That was really cool. And it was worth just it was a €10 day, really.
Right.
So then the last thing we want to talk about is another volcano. Are we going to talk about Taormina? Taormina? Yeah.
Skip that.
Skip it.
Well, I think it's just in general that transportation in Italy has been confusing. So when we've been able to get help, has been great because, if we want to just briefly talk about Taormina, another beautiful, beautiful resort city in Sicily, where it was just super confusing to take the train to the bus to the funicular that wasn't closed.
Working. And then to the other bus.
To another bus, and we spent a lot of time just trying to figure out the transportation.
So yeah, we're hacking Taormina, and there were so many beautiful things to do in Taormina, but because we spent so much time hacking the train to the bus to the funicular to the funicular that wasn't working to the bus to the it was a little bit more stressful than it needed to be, and it diminished our enjoyment of Taormina. So I think
beautiful place,
and beautiful, amazing Greek theater that had a killer view. Here's a picture of it.
Gardens.
And the gardens and
and
we got some granita and a brioche and ate along the beach. Anyway, it's a beautiful day, but it was disrupted by having to hack this kind of really complicated train to plane to spaceship to submarine to whatever to join Taormina. Anyway, the last place we want to talk about though is getting up to the top of Mount Etna. So after our day in Taormina, where we're on Google and it was an exhausting day, honestly. I said, you know what, executive decision, I am buying the full package to get to the top of Mount Etna. As a birthday gift for Steve, his birthday's coming up. He really wanted to go to Mount Etna. This is actually the third volcano we've done in a year. And we're like, let's just pay the full tour. So this we paid, I think it was like $70 a person. They came to our Airbnb, picked us up. I mean, literally right in front of the house, picked us up. We were with another couple. We went in our own electric vehicle, actually, which was really cool. Yeah. And we drove up to the top of Mount Etna. But on the way, we got all kinds of history about Catania and Roman history and Italian history and
our tour guide,
culture.
Driver was who was born there. He had a lot of history of the town, of the volcano, of when the last eruptions occurred, and how what the kind of devastation that they
caused.
Geography
and the geology and just really
and the botany and
lots of botany.
Yeah, so. He was a great guide.
And then the deaths that had happened. We even went to a place where the quote miracles have happened, and where the lava went this way, but it didn't go this way. And
he took us into a cave. Some of us, Chris didn't want to go in the cave, but yeah, I never would have gone into a cave on my own.
Yeah, a lava tube cave.
Right. Yeah. So that's something that was.
And then he had poles for us to be able to use and helmets and it was just all inclusive. Went to all these different places we never, we could have hacked getting up to Mount Etna, but it would have been, God.
Bathroom stops that we never would have found on our own.
True.
Those kinds of things are like, wow, that was worth a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so $70 a person, it was totally worth it. So we've been to 5 or 6 places we've talked about. Each one we've had amazing experiences. Some were relatively free. Nothing's free, but it didn't cost us anything versus $150 or so to experience these 5 different places. I think the only thing I would have changed about the whole trip would I would have maybe paid something for Taormina based on how Taormina handed out. But anyway, the point that we're trying to make is you don't necessarily want to do the cheapest way, and you don't necessarily need to do the most expensive way. And there's a lot of tools out there in order to make your enjoyment of places more spectacular than just walking to the city center, taking a picture of the basilica and grabbing a bite to eat and going home. So we'll put some links down below for all of the tools that we use as we go visit these different places, and some links for the tour guides that we used. And ask us questions. So when you travel, how do you do? Do you hack it all your own? Do you use a travel guide? What kind of combination of things do you do? Give us links, post pictures. How do you do it? And do you have any recommendations for us?
Yeah.
All right. See you next week. We're going to be telling you about Florence and Cinque Terre next week. So talk to you later.
Ciao.